Academy of Television Arts and Sciences in recognition to the best television programs initially produced and aired outside the United States. The awards are presented at the International Emmy Awards Gala held annually in November in New York City. It attracts over 1,200 television professionals. The first International Emmys ceremony was held in 1973, expanding what was originally a U.S.-only Emmy Award. The International Academy of Television Arts and Sciences announced the winners of the 49th International Emmy Awards at an in-person gala event in New York City. The gala was attended by television chief executives and professionals from around the world, including Atlantic Television Network's chairman, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, and was hosted by Nigerian-born American actress and comedian Yvonne Orji at the Great Hall of Casa Cipriani. International President and CEO of the Academy, Bruce Peisner, declared that we are delighted to be able to gather the global television community in person again in New York to celebrate the world's best television. The diversity and geographic spread of the winners demonstrates once again the universal power of great storytelling and performances.
I would also like to thank the Academy and everyone on the team who worked so hard to make this event possible. It's a great event, and we're so glad to be back at this event in person. We truly live in amazing times, and I want to explain in 2 quick sentences why I believe we live in amazing times.
The latest of the awards was the 49th edition, the International Emmy Awards 49th ceremony, which took place on November 22, 2021 at Casa Cipriani in New York City. It's open for all categories December 9, 2020 and closed February 17, 2021.
The University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital has denied reports that babies died due to a power outrage. Acting Public Relations Officer Elebha Meni issued a rebuttal at the weekend. Admitting that there was a power failure, Meni said it was not true that 14 infants died at the health facility. Many accused certain persons of trying to tarnish the image of UPTH by spreading false messages and information. Many also explained that even with bad transformer, the standby generators serviced the hospital for the period, with all emergency areas fully powered. The information of the baby's demise has sparked outrage with Nigerians on and off social media, calling for an immediate probe. The report said patients, including those undergoing surgical operations, were affected by the irregular power supply at UPTH. It claimed that among the newborns reported dead were twin babies of a woman who was barren for 7 years. The Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has set up a reconciliatory committee to meet the Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State over the fallout of the party's presidential primary and crisis, trailing the nomination of a running mate. The committee is to be headed by the party's presidential candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and has 13 PDP governors as members. Chairman of the party's BOT, Senator Wale Jibri, made the announcement in a statement on Sunday, saying the visit to Governor Wike would take place immediately after Atiku and the PDP National Chairman Iyorchia Ayu returned to the country from their vacation abroad. According to the BOT chairman, the reconciliatory committee will also comprise the party's vice presidential candidate, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, as well as Ayu and members of the PDP National Working Committee. Others include former PDP governors and ministers, as well as party elders from various zones and states in the country. Senator Jibrin described Governor Wike as a very responsible and obedient PDP member who assisted tremendously in building the party to its present status. Ahead of the reconciliatory meeting with the governor, he appealed to party members in Rivers not to leave the party and shunned comments aimed at reducing and running down the party. Civil society organizations, leaders and communities in Niger Delta have demanded immediate and comprehensive audit of the entire oil-rich region in view of the attendant ecological damage occasioned by oil companies' extraction activities. According to them, the audit should cover environmental, livelihood, health, social, and economic impact of crude oil and gas extraction, and should be immediately followed by the remediation of impacted places, restoration of the human and ecological damage caused by extraction activities, and reparations for their irreversible damages caused by oil extraction. This is part of the resolutions reached at a one-day summit in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, put together by Health of Mother Earth Foundation in conjunction with other CSOs, leaders, and communities in the region. The statement at the end of the meeting by Kome Odomo, media communication lead, also urged the federal government to immediately produce a framework and guide on how oil companies disengage from areas where they have operated. It noted that the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) was inadequate to address the myriad of problems confronting the region. Rather, it was compounding them, calling for the immediate review by the National Assembly to provide a definite deadline for gas flaring by oil companies and eliminate powers to permit flaring, among others. Edo Police Command on Sunday said its men arrested 7 suspected court members in the state. This was contained in a statement signed by Deputy Public Relations Officer ASP Jennifer Iwebu, made available to Atlantic Television Network in Benin. ATN recalls that the police command on Friday arrested and presented 7 court members, allegedly members of Aye and Iye Court. Iwebu listed the suspects as Andrew Owevoza, Joseph Meshach, Osaze Solomon, Goswi Obasoha, Charles Odias, and Okon Peter. They were arrested by the Ekiadolo sector within Ekowe community, while the 7th one was arrested at Ibe Road in Auchi, a Sako West local government area of the state. According to her, the arrest is to check the menace and excesses of cultism in Edo State and unnecessary killings in the state. Adamawa local government chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC have vowed to ensure the failure of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election. The chairman, who met in Yola, the state capital, on Sunday, said there would be tireless campaigners who would curse the voting out of all candidates of the ruling PDP, including presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and governor of the state Ahmadu Fintiri. During the engagement meeting convened by an APC stalwart, Malam Jamilu Yusuf, the party chairman said they remain faithful as grassroots mobilizers, and their support for the party will make Atiku Abubakar lose Adamawa despite his status as an indigene of the state. Jamilu, recalling that in 1999, Atiku brought Chief Olusegun Obasanjo to the people of Adamawa State and they voted for him, said it is Atiku's turn to pay back in favor of APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. You are watching the transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return shortly after this break. Welcome back. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has warned ram sellers trying to take advantage of the Eid al-Adha season to make bricks business against occupying areas not designated for livestock sale. The Senior Special Assistant to the FCT Ministers on Monitoring, Inspection and Enforcement, Ekaro Atta, issued the warning last week while inspecting designated livestock selling points in the territory. Atta further warned that anyone caught selling rams in unapproved areas will be taken to court and risk having their properties confiscated. He advised ram sellers to contact the Abuja Environmental Protection Board for proper guidance on how to go about their businesses without violating the law. He disclosed that the AEBP, headed by O.C. Brima, had set up a committee to check the sale of rams and warned persons not to sell rams in non-designated places. At least 3 people have been killed and several more have been wounded in a shooting at a shopping mall in the Danish capital, Copenhagen. The shooting happened in the late afternoon at Fields, one of the biggest shopping malls in Scandinavia and located on the outskirts of Danish capital. A police inspector Sorin Thomasin said the victims included a man in his 40s and 2 young people, and that several others were wounded, 3 of them critically. Thomasin also told reporters that a 22-year-old Danish man had been arrested over Sunday's shooting and charged with manslaughter. He said there was no indication that anyone else was involved in the attack and said that it was too early to speculate on a motive for the shooting. China has placed 1.7 million people under lockdown in central Anhui province, where authorities reported nearly 300 new cases in the latest of a string of outbreaks testing Beijing's no-tolerance approach to COVID-19. The country is the last major economy wedded to a zero-COVID strategy, responding to all cases with strict isolation orders and tough testing campaigns. The outbreak in Anhui, where officials first found hundreds of cases last week, comes as the Chinese economy begins to rebound from a month-long lockdown in Shanghai and disruptive COVID restrictions in the capital, Beijing. 2 countries in the province, Xinjiang and Linbei, announced lockdowns last week, with more than 1.7 million residents only permitted to leave their homes if they are getting tested. Kannywood superstar Ali Nuhu and other actors have mourned the demise of a director in the industry, Nura Mustafa. The death of the Kannywood director, famous for the popular Hausa YouTube series Izaso, was announced on Sunday by his colleagues. The news of his death took many by surprise, as several reports noted that the deceased had gone to bed hale and hearty on Saturday night. On his verified Facebook page, popular actor Ali Nuhu said, "May Allah have mercy on Nura Mustafa." Other actors also expressed their sadness on their different pages over the death of the director. Nura, who is survived by a wife and children, has since been buried in accordance with Islamic rites, according to reports. The Super Falcons will be without first-choice goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, who is suspended for receiving yellow cards in different matches of the qualifying series. With her exclusion, Israel-based Tochukwu Olehi is likely to start between the sticks for the Falcons against the Bayana tonight. Nnadozie played a key role in helping Falcons qualify for their 12-month tournament, especially in the reverse fixture in the final qualifiers against Ivory Coast in Abidjan. A brilliant penalty saved by Nnadozie at the Stade Robert Champrux fired the Falcons through to Morocco. The Falcons defeated the Ivorians 2-0 in Abuja in the first leg, but the Elephants had a chance to get back into the game in the 34th minute of the reverse fixtures, after defender Auxilia Plumter was adjoined to have tripped an Ivorian striker in the Nigerian area, with the referee pointing in the penalty spot. Nnadozie saved the penalty and the rebound of the safe player went into the side netting. The Ivorians launched a late onslaught on the Falcons but met a steely Nigerian defense before Esther Okoronkwo's 87th minute strike-all was sealed qualification with a 3-0 aggregate win. The 23 edition of the African Cup of Nations AFCON, initially built to take place in Cote d'Ivoire from June 2023, has been postponed to January 2024. The decision was one of the key decisions taken during the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee meeting held on Sunday. CAF, through its president Patrice Motsepe, announced the 34th edition, which was initially scheduled from June 23rd to July 23rd, 2023, would no longer go on as planned due to the weather conditions in the West African country. Motsepe, however, lauded Ivory Coast for the preparations they have already put in place to stage the tournament. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are one of the teams eyeing qualifications for the next AFCON tournament, and they have started the qualification series quite well, winning their first 2 games against Sierra Leone and then Sao Tome and Principe. Arsenal has completed the signing of Brazil forward Gebreyesus on a long-term contract from Premier League champions Manchester City. The fee for the 25-year-old is understood to be 45 million euros, and he moves to the Emirates after undergoing a medical and agreeing personal terms. Jesus will wear the number 9 shirt recently vacated by Alexandra Lacazette, who left for Lyon on a free transfer. The Gunners put in nearly 6 months of work with Jesus representative Marcelo Pettinati to ensure they were in pole position to recruit him from City this summer. He becomes the North London club fourth signing of the summer following the additions of Fabio Vieira, Matona and Marcujos. Arsenal Technical Director Edu said they are delighted that to have secured the transfer of Gabriel, noting that everyone who knows football well knows the qualities of Gabriel Jesus. Mikel Arteta added he is very excited that the club has done a tremendous job to recruit a player of his stature, noting that he knows Gabriel personally very well and that they all know him well from his time in the Premier League and being really successful here. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Victor Ake. You can follow us on all our social media handles. At Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network. Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
In our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television Network, StarTimes DTH channel 194, ATN Live on Google App Store, Facebook Atlantic Television Network, YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram Atlantic TV Network, Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. For sponsorship, 0810-634-1777. ATN Icons, celebrating the giants of our time.
The people, the candidates, the party, the campaigns. What really makes an election year? Enough of the rhetorics. It's time for issue-based politics.